For this recipe, you'll need some store-bought pizza dough. Make sure you bring it to room temperature for 1 hour, half a cup of ricotta cheese, 2 potatoes sliced really thin and boiled so they're cooked all the way through. And I know it looks like a lot, but whatever you have left over, just save it, and then you can use it in the morning to make an omelet. Then I have olive oil, really good quality olive oil. Put some crushed garlic in it and let that sit so the garlic kind of marinates, and then you get a garlic infused oil. We're going to brush that onto our pizza dough, or if you already have a garlic infused oil, you can just go ahead and use that, but try to use what you have, make your own. And then a really good blend of mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, then a little bit of rosemary and fresh basil. We have a very rustic looking pizza today. I'm kind of pushing my limits. I rolled it out super duper thin, so it might break in some areas, but I like it really thin. So we're gonna roll with it. First, you're gonna take your garlic oil, and we don't need all of it, so we're just gonna drizzle it right over the pizza. You can use a pastry brush, but I couldn't find mine, so if we can't find a tool, we're not gonna sweat it. You can still make it. You don't need any special tools for this. Just kind of make sure you get oil everywhere. You don't want to oversaturate it. You just want a really nice thin layer of oil, and try to get in there on the crust area because that tends to get really dry, and you also want it to have a little bit of garlic flavor. It's nice when that crust has some garlic flavor in it. And then next, just take your mozzarella Parmesan blend and then sprinkle it right around the pizza, just avoiding your crust. And then your scoops of ricotta. Now you can either put the ricotta in little pieces all throughout the pizza like that, or you can spread it on first and then do your cheese. It's really a personal preference. I really kind of like to do it next, so then that way the pizza isn't too soggy. Sometimes if you put the ricotta on there first, especially when you have a really thin pizza like I like to do, then you know, your crust is just gonna break easier. It's harder to eat. Still delicious either way. I mean, all these ingredients combined together are really delicious. You can even add extra salt by putting some bacon on top, but I think it has enough with the potatoes, which I salted a little bit, and your Parmesan cheese, so I don't think you need that much more salt. Just keep it really simple. This is a really simple, basic pizza that's good for a weeknight meal. Okay, and the last ingredient will be our thin potatoes. That way they're gonna really get crispy. And it's okay if some of them are broken. They don't have to be perfect. This is a very rustic pizza. You want to cook this on your highest possible setting in your oven. So I have my oven set at 500 degrees. You can use a pizza stone, you can use special equipment, but I'm just going to use this plain old simple pizza pan. And like I said, you're going to have leftover potatoes. Just use that for an omelet in the morning so you can added meal out of it. And before we pop this in the oven, I'm just gonna add a little bit of rosemary and basil. Not all of it, I'd say about half, and then the other half we'll save for when it comes out of the oven. That way we can give it a little bit of extra color. Okay, so you should have some oil left over. Go ahead and drizzle it right on top so the potatoes get extra crispy. And if you want, even add the garlic. Let's go ahead and bake it. It shouldn't take any more than 20 minutes, but everybody's oven can vary. So just take a little peek. Don't open the oven, but just peek through the window. You really don't want to put it in any longer than that. I mean, maybe you want it in the oven a little bit longer, but for me, that's like the perfect texture. It's done. I don't want it any crispier because the crust gets a little bit too dry if you cook it any longer than that. So there's our perfect potato pizza. And I'm sorry, guys, I can't wait to take any fancy photos or anything. I'm gonna dig right in. I hope you make this for your family and let me know what you think. You can see how thin the pizza is. It's not perfect, it's definitely rustic, but we have that nice thin crust. That was the goal.